What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I did want to do a quick channel update today, basically talking about like the future content that you're probably going to be seeing, but like the direction of stuff, kind of going over a few things I did want to talk about for a minute now. First thing I do want to mention though is no, you're not going to be seeing like Destiny videos or Call of Duty or something like that. I'm still going to be mainly focused on racing games and the racing genre overall, and this is going to include Forza Horizon 5 videos still coming and also some TCM videos here and there, but I did also want to cover other racing games as well. But there's also going to be a few other things I did want to mention. Now, as I did say before, I'm not going to stop doing Forza or TCM content. I would say TCM content is going to be a bit more scarce, and there will end up being content with that coming. But I'm also going to be doing videos on Forza, but mixing in other things on top of it. I mean, heck, guys, I even thought about doing like a PlayStation dumpster dive type of racing game thing, maybe weekly or every few weeks, to where I'm going to find like a random game in the PlayStation Store and just kind of play it and do a video on it and see exactly what it is. It could be pretty much anything. It could be like an old game or a game that people never really played or a game that has terrible reviews and stuff. That is also something I am considering. Do let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. I'm also thinking about doing more topics on racing games or like different topics on racing in general. Could also be different topics on just gaming in general, to be honest. Like back in the day, I was doing some of those. But now, including all of that though, there's also something else I did want to mention here that honestly gets me really excited to think about it. As everybody does know, I was doing PS3 videos back in the day, whether it was like Dirt 2, Midnight Club Los Angeles. I did some Carbon stuff, which I also do have another Carbon video coming. Do stay tuned for that one. But one thing I noticed though is going back and playing some of these older games really did get me so dang hyped, and I had a great time going back in and playing them because a lot of the times the games were what, like 15, 16 something years ago. Probably a lot of players have even jumped in them. So going back on and playing through some of these games again really did hit differently. Some of the PS3 games, and I'm also going to show footage of this in the background that you guys are going to be seeing, is Need for Speed The Run. Have a few videos planned for that. I'm also going to have a few videos on Need for Speed Undercover. I do know that game was very controversial, but I did end up finding a copy for the PS3, so do stay tuned for that. I'm also going to be doing a video, and I guess you could say a few of them, on the original Dirt, which was going to be the first one, which is kind of insane to think about. On top of that, I'm also still trying to get a Dirt 3 copy, so stay tuned for those. But these are some of the games you guys will be expecting on the PlayStation 3. But there's also something else I am planning out. I've finally gotten a lot of the games collected I have been going after. I am also planning on doing a bunch of PlayStation 2 games. And you know what though, this is probably going to sound a bit insane. Now the thing I do want to mention again though is I'm still going to be covering Forza and Motorfest and some of the newer racing games and all that news and all that stuff for those games and different things in the racing genre. But the thing is though, I figured, you know what, let's go back in time a bit, explore some of these old games, but also figure out what made them so great. And with that, I'm also going to be doing different videos on them. I'm thinking about doing like a playthrough type of thing, if I'm able to do that with the setup I am running. If not, I will just have a bunch of different videos, or I'll record the stuff and all that and then do it that way instead of doing it the original way I wanted to. But for PS2 though, some of the games you guys can be expecting. Now this is probably going to sound crazy, and the insane part is though, this is only going to be some of the games you guys will end up seeing, or like a small sneak peek of it. There is easily going to be more planned. I mean, heck, I even thought about doing a video on the original game called Black. That was one of my favorite shooters, and also something like even Ratchet Deadlock. But again, I am going to show you guys some footage of this. This is going to include something like Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. Was so dang weird jumping onto that game again. We're also going to have Burnout Revenge. I loved it. I am currently searching for a Burnout 3 copy. Haven't found one, but I think my luck will eventually get me there. Really did love Burnout Revenge, though. Playing that again, it just hits so differently. On top of that, guys, we're also going to have Need for Speed Underground 2. I do know for a fact a lot of people love that game. I've never played it. I did end up starting it up and booting it up and going through some of the beginning stuff, and wow, I gotta admit, it's pretty dang incredible. Also, one of my favorite games ever made was going to be Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition Remix. I absolutely loved it. do be expecting videos on that as well. And also a quick thing, I do know people do know this, but similar to the PS3 videos that you guys were seeing, I'm not going to be using an emulator on any of these videos. It's all going to be original PS2 footage. This was actually something I did want to aim for because don't get me wrong, I could easily get the emulator set up on the computer, but I'm like, you know what? I want to go to the source and actually play the PS2 again and go play the original game. And I feel like people seeing the original footage of the PS2 of these games really is going to hit different and also kind of fill a void and go, dang, that's what the games look like? That's pretty crazy. But also seeing how far games have come, but on top of it, seeing how amazing the games were back then because they focus on one key thing. The fun factor, who would have thought, which is also something I will end up talking about in that Need for Speed Carbon video. Another game, guys, you're also going to see in the background was a personal favorite. That was going to be ATV Off-Road Fury 4. There's also going to be a number of other racing games I am going to be doing, but currently not going to include them. Kind of like a surprise thing, but also I feel like a lot of the games weren't as well known, which is kind of a reason why I wanted to revisit them. And that's probably something I'm going to be honest about, though, is I have been thinking about this for a minute now, kind of going over different games or older games and covering some stuff on those instead of always doing something like Forza or even something like only TCM, because I do want to kind of like broaden the entire audience thing, which I'm sure people are going to understand. Like, I'm sure some people are wondering if I'm going to be doing just Forza Horizon 5 content now, which if you are wondering, no, that is not going to be the case. I am going to do videos on it, but I'm also going to be mixing in other things as well, not just Forza Horizon or not just The Crew. It has nothing against those games or anything. I do want to mix things up and all that. Now, I'm sure people are like, yo, are you going to be leaving racing games 100%? No, I'm just going to be going and revisiting older racing games on the PS3, PS2, doing some of those old games again and kind of just having fun on them because I feel like, you know what? A lot of the old games that were made back then really had a lot of great aspects to them that a lot of the new games seem to be missing. I'm sure people are like, oh no, Block's going to be leaving racing games. Do not worry, guys. I'm not going to start posting like Warzone content. That is not going to happen, or Call of Duty or something or anything crazy like that. Definitely not going to be the genre I'm really into. Do let me know what y'all think about this in the comments below. Again, definitely stay tuned for more of this coming in the next few weeks and over the course of the next few months as well. I feel like this is going to be a pretty dope shift, guys. It's not going to change all that much. Like, again, I'm not going to be doing like Warzone content or something like Destiny 2 or anything like that. Like, I'm not going to be completely switching, but I am going to be revisiting older racing games, again, maybe doing like a dumpster dive type of thing into like PlayStation, but I would end up saying that's probably going to be a bit farther down the line where I might end up messing with different games, or some people are like, yo, you should check out this one, and kind of doing some things like that. I would say there's most likely going to be a lot of games there that people are going to be like, what is this? But the biggest thing is, though, you can definitely be expecting the PS3 videos and also a bunch of PS2 games popping up way before those, but I'm definitely considering a lot of these options for the near future. Again, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below, guys. I gotta admit, I really am excited to go back and do these games and play the PS2 again. It was really fun playing through some of them and messing around going, man, these games were so dang good. They really did focus on the right aspects and people loved them. There wasn't going to be like really weird live service stuff in there or like weird DLCs. I do know that came after, or just a lot of the things that really question a lot of the games nowadays and also is kind of plaguing them. I do feel like a lot of these games really are going to be a really cool, fresh thing to see, but also it is most likely going to touch some of that nostalgic nerves, which I would say is probably a good thing.